All right, so let's talk. So, as I was saying before, we have to obey God. If God tells you to start a business, start a business. All right. Now, there is a difference between God telling you and you taking it upon yourself to do it. If you take it upon yourself to do it, right, then you're going to have to really research and you're going to have to find the materials. Of course, we're going to pray to God regardless. But there are some things, and we talk about those promises that the Lord has promised us. And there's some things that the Lord wants to give us. And once we take the initiative, once we take that first step, God will already have it assembled. And the way that you know that God has called you to a place, God has called you to a business, is if things begin to fall in place in the midst of you preparing. Did you hear what I said? The way you know that God has called you is that things begin to fall in place as you are preparing. Now then, so God has called you to start up a business where you're able to teach students fluency skills and you're able to test them and you're able to understand what their reading deficiencies are. You do this for the community. You do it on weekends. Okay? First step, you have to come up with your action plan, which is, first of all, you need to pray to God. Make sure that God has actually told you to do that, right? Second of all, you come up with your action plan and you have to start with yourself before anyone else. You have to start small. So God says if he can trust us over the small things, then he'll increase it. And so going into a plan, making it huge, right, is not going to help you because you want to make sure that you're acclimated to your own business before you begin to have other people come in. And so you devise this plan strategically. And we're going to go over that later because it works. You devise this plan and you make it small as possible. One person. Okay? Start out like that, especially when you're going into business. All right. And you want to have your vision, write the vision, make it plain. You want to have your goals, your mission statement. What is your purpose? Why are you there? Why are you trying to bring individuals to your establishment? Is it to help in reading? Is it to be a motivational speaker? Is it to network? What is your purpose? That's the most important thing because once you understand the why and the purpose, you're able to then construct the how, which is the most important. Okay? And when we begin to talk about revenue, we begin to speak about funding. It's good to always have grants. It's good to always have investments so that you can fund this particular place. But if the Lord has sent you and the Lord has called you to do this, finding the resources will not be a chore. And we're going to really talk about and speak about trusting in God and taming our ears to be able to hear God. Did you hear what I said? Because sometimes what we do is we get this great idea, right? And God didn't tell us to do that. And then we go into it, right? And we're trying to figure out. You go by the unction of the Spirit of God. We call it tuition, intuition. Go by the Spirit of God. Trust God with all of your heart. Lean not into your understanding. Acknowledge God in all thy ways, and he shall lead and direct our paths. God will lead you where you're supposed to be. Just like GPS, right? I remember one time I was coming back from Texas A&M. The GPS was speaking to me. You can say that with God. The GPS was speaking to me, right? And so the streets, there were some back streets with a lot of trees. There was no stores in sight. right? I like scenery. I like to see stores and stoplights. Come right back. We have a commercial.